security camera footage.
Yeah, a Metro Atlanta mom says it actually shows her son's ghost.
Spirits and ghosts have intrigued and unsettled us since the inception of human civilization. However, it is only the invention of the camera that has allowed us to witness the horrors of glowing orbs drifting through empty rooms and shadowy figures appearing out of nowhere. Join us as we take a deep dive into spirits and ghosts caught on camera. Number 15. White orbs seen in a hospital. Back in 2013, Janice Whitmer's mother was nearing her mortality, and while the doctors at Baptist Hospital in Nashville gave their everything to save her, Janice knew it was time. In a video posted on YouTube, Janice shows the white orbs surrounding her mother. She believed it was a sign from God that the most important person in her life is about to ascend to heaven. According to several religious beliefs, an orb is a spiritual vehicle for a loved one, angel guide, or spiritual being to move them from one realm to another, the veil between the mortal world and the hereafter things around the dying person. And we can see spiritual beings taking the sacred life forward. For many, seeing white orbs is a source of comfort as they believe they are going to heaven with ease. And for Janice, recording the miraculous video was no different. In the video, she tells us that her mother had started to talk crazy.
My mama was preaching and she was out of her mind.
As if the world around her didn't make sense, Janice knew that her mother was likely going to a different world, and that's when she decided to record her final moments on her Samsung. Janice's mother is sleeping in the footage, presumably nearing the end of her life. While such scenes would be bone-chilling and tearful, Janice shows ultimate bravery and feels relieved that her mother is going to a better place. In another heart-touching story, a deceased son paid an unexpected visit to his family. Number 14. A son visits his mother. Jennifer Hodges, a real estate agent from Atlanta, Georgia, suffered a great loss when she lost her son, Robbie. She was in bed watching movies with her 21-year-old daughter, Lauren, when she received a bizarre notification about her security camera catching a person in the entryway. Since the mother-daughter duo were home alone, they were instantly alarmed. They quickly ran into the kitchen to catch the intruder, but their entire house was empty. There was no sign of a break-in either. Upon inquiring about the footage, Jennifer spotted an almost transparent image of a male figure who had entered her house. She was spooked, but instantly knew that she was looking at the spirit of her son, Robbie, who had died 2 years earlier of a drug overdose. Jennifer now believes that her son had visited her to tell her that he was fine, and after living a troublesome life of drug addiction, he was in a better place. When the mother of two posted her story on Facebook, it went viral. Many local newspapers and channels covered her story, but at the same time, many found it hard to believe. They questioned the authenticity of the photo, until many third parties confirmed that the image was indeed unedited. Since the first sighting in the kitchen, Robbie hasn't visited Jennifer, but she knows what she saw. Independent paranormal investigators from Georgia also confirmed that a human-like figure was there in the kitchen on the blessed night, and the figure as well as the beard is very identical to that of Robbie. Like another story on our list, the supernatural activity was definitely spooky. Number 13. Soul exits the body. We have heard tales of spirits exiting our almost still bodies at record speeds, but we have never witnessed the bone-chilling phenomena. However, a tragic accident in Kentucky in 2016 has put a picture to even our most vivid imagination. A man was on the highway in his car when he witnessed a fatal motorcycle accident. The help arrived almost immediately, but the motorcyclist tragically passed away on the scene. The man, who was recording the entire scene, captured something fog-like just above the spot where the motorcyclist took his last breaths, and on a closer look, the white instance looks like a spirit. After the photo was shared on Facebook, many people chimed in, and most of them believed it was the spirit exiting the man's body. See and decide for yourself. The story is often cited as a prime example of the existence of spirits after the American Broadcasting Company ran the news on their channel. The eyewitness believes that the motorcyclist was a good man, and he saw his spirits ascending to the heavens. While he was uneasy by what he captured, he was glad that a man, who died a turbulent death, was resting easy. Number 12. Mother sees her deceased daughter on camera. A mother's love knows no bounds. In 2018, the city of Las Cruces in New Mexico mourned the passing of a 2-year-old, Fabiola Rodriguez. The toddler had left the world at the hands of her mother's boyfriend in a very contentious case of abuse. Since then, Fabiola's mother, Sandra, has mourned her immense loss. but unexpected news from a family she barely knew gave her incomparable comfort. According to Sandra, Fabiola is buried alongside a 19-year-old guy, James Bustamante. The teenager was unalived by a mystery man, and in the hopes of garnering any evidence on the crime, his family had installed cameras on his grave. It was routine for Sandra to visit her daughter in the cemetery, and that's when she met James's mother. She told the grieving mom that her camera had captured a strange phenomenon. A young girl, about 2 years old, with thick black wavy hair, was seen picking up toys from Faviola's grave. Later, the girl was seen holding a man's hand and disappeared. Bustamante's mother was sure she had seen her son in the footage, but couldn't identify the young child. When Sandra showed her a picture of her deceased daughter, both mothers were left stunned. The young girl in the footage was a spitting image of Fabiola, who was seen visiting her grave. Sandra had already complained about the missing toys from her daughter's grave to the cemetery security, but couldn't believe that Fabiola was visiting her resting place. It was no surprise that the heart-touching stories of 2 lives lost went instantly viral. Bustamante's mother, Reina, called Fabiola her son's guardian angel. While talking to reporters, she said that her son was still waiting for justice, but she was glad that he wasn't alone in his struggle. She had recorded the footage at the time when Faviola's trial was also put on hold. Both mothers, whose children were taken away from them, now share a beautiful bond. According to Sandra, her daughter was there to take James Bustamante to heaven, so his soul could find eternal peace. Number 11. Son bids his father goodbye. Joe, an elderly man from the United States, had been ill for 2 years when he completely went bedridden. According to his son, Mark, Joe slowly slipped towards his peaceful passing, but one early morning, they started to hear the death rattle. The noisy breathing was a definitive sign that Joe was nearing his end. So, his wife and caregiver, Alyssa, stayed with him for hours, but as the rattle continued, they figured that Joe had some hours left in the world and went to bed. By 6 in the morning, Joe's son, Matt, decided to accompany his father in his final hours. As the death rattle began much more noisy, he knew that the time had come. You'll hear in the chilling video that Matt is singing grace to his father. 20 minutes in, Matt begins to see white orbs ascending in the room. The footage was captured by the monitoring camera in Joe's room, and we can clearly see ribbons of white fog surrounding the elderly man's bed. Matt sees that the veil is thinning around his father but doesn't stop singing grace. Eventually, his dad has gone quietly in his sleep. Later, Matt decided to share the video on YouTube to bring comfort to other grieving families. He also added that he had taken his mother's permission to be with his dad in his final moments. While she had allowed Matt to sing him grace, she later didn't have a recollection of this conversation with her son. Matt and Alyssa, who had witnessed the conversation, were stunned. The instance was bizarre, but according to the son, it was Joe's way to protect his wife from the sadness of seeing him passing away. On YouTube, Matt wrote, "I believe that Dad waited until she was out of the room, so her energy and love was not holding him to the earth. When I sang the song to let him go, he passed quickly. Go with God and the angels, Dad, and we will see you around." Just like the next video on our list, Matt's story also went viral on social media sites. Number 10. A man's spirit leaves him airborne. The hauntingly beautiful video from 2021 went viral on the internet for the right reasons. While many have disputed the authenticity of the footage, others believe they saw a man's spirit leaving his body after he tragically passed away. It was a quiet night when residents in an undisclosed location in the United States heard a series of sirens. A man, in a speeding car, was in a fatal accident. By the looks of it, it was clear the unfortunate man would not make it, but locals instantly called for help. As the patient was in critical condition, rescuers tried to save his life by airlifting him to the nearest hospital. However, as the helicopter was about to leave with the injured man, he took his final breaths. Natives, who were recording the entire ordeal on their phones, captured something strange about the takeoff. Just above the chopper, they saw an almost transparent figurine of a man ascending to the heavens. The visual also eerily coincided with the moment of the man's death. The locals knew that they had witnessed the peaceful passing of a soul to the heavens. As the video was uploaded on YouTube, it has been watched thousands of times, and many believe the white fog was indeed the man's spirit. What do you think? Up next, we have another instance of a spirit leaving a woman's body, once again, right after a tragic accident. Number 9. Spirit caught on camera. This video from Thailand has shocked many. After all, As we gradually grapple with the terrifying accident, we see a strange phenomenon happening to a victim's body. As you can see in the footage, a blue truck on the highway tries to make a wrong turn on a rather dangerous route. The truck driver makes his way to the intersection and instantly crashes with a speeding motorcycle with two riders. It's clear from the footage that the accident was terrifying. It would have been a miracle if the motorcyclist and the passenger would have survived. Unfortunately, the woman who was in the back seat passed away on the spot, but it wasn't her death solely that made the headlines. As locals rush to save the accident victims, we can see a questionable black shadow hovering around a lying person, who is presumably dead. It was later confirmed that the spirit was floating around the woman's deceased body. Apparently, she had hit her head on the nearby pole and had broken her neck. There was no chance for her to survive. The spooky footage of the spirit leaving her body just became another horrifying detail about the accident. Number 8. Orbs after death. This haunting video from an elderly woman's bedroom was uploaded on YouTube in July 2018. The channel's owner, Amy, didn't provide any details about the woman, but from even a single glance, we can tell the old woman is quite sick. Her entire room is seemingly filled with medical supplies. Even her side table looks like a rack from a hospital room. Soon into the video, we begin to see white orbs surrounding the elderly woman as she presumably passed away in her sleep. The 6-minute-long video shows multiple instances of white orbs hovering around. Whoever that woman was, her passing came with spirituality and divinity. In the next footage, we are going to witness something similar. However, fortunately, no one passed away. Number 7. Friendly spirits or a haunted gym. Sometimes some friendly spirits make up their mind to visit a gym. When Kevin Cunningham got a notification from his security cameras about an intruder at his business, he wasn't expecting what he saw next. It was unusual for him to receive notifications like those, and nothing could have prepared him for the great revelation. The footage didn't show a person. It revealed something far more eerie. There were these glowing orbs, just floating and swirling through the air.
All I saw was these sort of dancing orbs.
These strange lights have shown up 4 times now at Kevin's fitness in Orchard Park. At first, he decided to ignore the strange appearances, but their repetition made him both curious and a bit unsettled. So, he reached out to a digital expert from Yale, hoping for some logical explanation. The expert ruled out the theory on dust particles floating around, but then said something that only added to the mystery. I'm not saying it's a ghost or anything supernatural, I just can't explain it. It wasn't a surprise that Kevin began to wonder if his gym was haunted, so he took another expert on board. Mason Winfield, a local ghost historian, was just as baffled though. He pointed out that while we usually think of haunted places as old castles or creepy houses, it's not unusual for even industrial buildings like Kevin's gym to have these kinds of experiences. Michael Bastine, an author and Algonquin healer, sees the orbs differently. To him, they're friendly spirits that must have appeared in the gym after Kevin made a prayer. The gym owner confirmed that he did pray in the gym as he was closing the site for the night. Bastine confirmed that the spirits were there for grace and meant no harm. Kevin has also learned to accept strange appearances. In an interview, he said, "It just feels right that these orbs are here. It feels fitting." Despite earning local notoriety, Kevin's gym is up and running. Number 6. A running spirit. In August 2024, the Los Angeles Police Department caught on to 2 men in a stolen California highway patrol car. The 2 unidentified suspects were recorded driving the car at high speeds. Eventually, police handed the case to the highway patrol for better efficiency. What followed through, on the busy highways of California, was a high-speed car chase for the 2 suspected thieves. The scene seemed unreal, as if the bustling roads of the state were turned into a movie set. The way the chase ended was also quite exhilarating. Both suspects escaped from the vehicle in the middle of the road as the car went crashing down. According to the police, both men had scattered on foot in Pomona. In the footage that was broadcast on major news channels like Fox, we can see the terrifying car chase. But one eagle-eye viewer caught onto something entirely different. A new angle of the footage shows one of the thieves tripping on the road as he tries to escape the police. However, before he could get up on his feet, a dark shadow ran away from his body to the other side of the road. It could very much be a camera gimmick, but hundreds of people believed that the man's spirit had left him for its protection and safety. Since the man was found alive, many find it troublesome to buy into the spirit theory, but others know what they saw. Later, both of the suspects were arrested by the police, so any claims about the man losing his life after hitting his head are also untrue. Truly a novel situation. Number 5. Dog catches something paranormal. Certain theories suggest that animals detect the supernatural more often than we do, but just like us, they get spooked too. In a 2017 incident captured on a home security camera, a family dog appears to sense something unusual in the kitchen. The footage shows the dog reacting to what many are describing as mysterious white orbs, a shred of distinct evidence that some spirits were visiting the house. The eerie video begins with an otherwise normal night in the kitchen. The Great Dane, initially calm, suddenly becomes alert, its ears perking up as if sensing something out of place. It starts to scan the room, and as you can see, it is uneasy, as if detecting a presence that's not visible to the human eye. Moments later, faint, glowing orbs start to appear, floating through the air. The dog is very quick to detect the white orbs, and as it was trained to alert its owner of any danger, it loyally starts to bark. The barking grows more intense as the dog tries to wake up its owners, but the video suggests that they are fast asleep. The video ends with the orbs gradually fading away. Yet the Great Dane remains alert as ever. As usual, many have suggested that the home camera had probably detected some dust particles. Yet the dog's initial reaction suggests that there's more to the story than just some flickers of flying dust. A top comment on the widely watched video says, "The concept of orbs is much, much more believable when we see a dog reacting. People can and do make stuff up. Dogs never lie." Many seem to agree with the sentiment. Number 4. Spirit leaving the morgue. It was just another night at a hospital in India, or so everyone thought. The staff had settled into their shifts when something unexplainable occurred. The security cameras in the morgue picked up a figure, a shadowy presence, drifting slowly through the room, and then running at lightning speeds into the hallway. In the footage, you can see people sleeping in the hallway. Presumably, these were the companions of the patients who were admitted to the hospital overnight. Unknown to the people in deep slumber, they had a close encounter with a spirit leaving the morgue. In the start, the spirit is drifting away slowly, and then suddenly, it runs super fast into the corner. Unfortunately, the camera only captured a small part of the hallway. No one knows whose spirit it was and where it went. As you might have expected, many people have questioned the authenticity of the footage, claiming that it is heavily edited. However, it is not new for people to witness strange phenomena near the morgues and hospitals. In the next clip, you'll witness something equally bone-chilling. Number 3. Eerie scenes in a mortuary. The footage on your screen comes from Gandhi Hospital in India, specifically from the backyard of its haunted mortuary. Some popular stories on Google suggest that the hospital is known for its paranormal activity, and recently, security footage captured outside the facility has revealed something that has left both locals and skeptics baffled and terrified. In the footage, we see metal bed frames, typically used for transporting bodies, just outside the mortuary. Presumably, these frames were spares, so the hospital had decided to keep them in their backyard. Initially, the frames remained still, untouched, as one might expect in the early hours of the morning. Yet, as you can see, in a bizarre incident, one of the bed frames suddenly starts to move. It is also apparent that there is no visible source of this movement, no wind, no person nearby. Yet the frame continues its motion, seemingly guided by an unseen force. To make matters even more terrifying, the frame slides across the concrete, producing a loud, unsettling screech, an unsettling part of the video that you can't hear. Even today, we don't know what caused the eerie movement, but widespread speculation suggests that one of the restless spirits from the mortuary was just making itself known to the outer world. This wouldn't have been the only time when the notorious mortuary has seen weird phenomena, according to the locals. Yet every time, every new instance instills fear in them. Like this story, the next footage on our list is also very creepy. Number 2. Mysterious orb at a pastor's house. Pastor Monzel Ford, who serves as the chaplain for the Daytona Beach Police Department, has seen even the most bizarre incidents in his ministry. Yet nothing seems to compare to what he saw in his own home, and now, this man of faith is grappling with a lot of questions. Pastor Ford was sound asleep on a random day in the year 2020 when his home surveillance camera's motion detector started going off repeatedly. Groggy and curious, he grabbed his phone and checked the live feed from his bedroom. What he saw left him stunned. There was a clear-cut orb floating in his living room. Pastor Ford had seen enough in his ministry to know that his house had some uninvited guests hovering around. As he described the bone-chilling footage, Ford said that there was no one else in the house, and it wasn't a flashlight or car headlights. It was too large to be mere dust. As the orb moved around, Pastor Ford decided to investigate, watching the live feed on his phone as he walked into the living room. Yet, when he got there, he couldn't see anything with his own eyes that matched what he was seeing on screen. That alone was pretty strange. The mysterious orb continued to appear and disappear for hours, even splitting into multiple shapes at one point, and that was more than what the pastor had bargained for. Describing the haunting experience, he said, "That's when I thought, nope, something's definitely going on here." The unusual experience has left him with many questions, and his followers online followed suit. While Pastor Ford can't definitely say what appeared on his camera that day, he knows the experience was supernatural. He also confirmed that his family won't be evacuating the house. The spirits, friendly or evil, would have to cohabitate with the Ford family. The next supernatural encounter on our list has a tragic story of a beloved dog behind it. Number 1. Ring camera detects moving orbs. Rob Williams had equipped his garage and the backyard with ring cameras for added safety. For years, the cameras didn't detect anything unusual. However, in March 2023, everything changed. In a chilling video uploaded on YouTube, Williams shared that his beloved dog was unalived by a coyote in a heart-wrenching incident. In the following weeks, his ring cameras kept detecting unusual motion in the backyard and the garage, the two places where the dog would usually spend its time. Williams confirmed that his cameras only send an alert when they detect a motion, and when he checked the footage for the first time, all he could see was Orbs floating around. The next day, the very same happened. Every time he got a motion alert, small white rings would appear in the camera. While Williams never believed in spirits and ghosts, the footage readily changed his mind. He is still open to any explanation for the phenomenon that occurred for 2 months in his house, but largely, he believes that his dog was visiting its favorite places. Williams also confirmed that the last sighting of the spirit was in May 2023. Since then, he hasn't noticed anything unusual in his house. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.